Hey, do you watch Days of Our Lives? And I'm not talking about the soap opera. I'm talking about the little things. This morning, I went to check out a estate sale. Something I like to do on Friday mornings. And so picture this. It's a house that had probably about 100 people lined up outside. Everyone's wearing their mask on. And for whatever reason, this house was opening up late or could only have a few number of people in at a time. I'm not sure. So standing outside, I could feel people getting restless, right? And finally, they let us in, and there was mass pandemonium. I mean, it really did feel like I was in a soap opera. Why? Because nothing in this house was organized. I don't know about you if you've experienced estate sales, but if you're lucky, when you show up at an estate sale, there's some semblance of order. There may be a few people around and everything has a price on it. Well, this estate sale only had one or two people. There were 100 people storming the house. Everybody had a mask on, and to discover nothing in the house was priced. And the way this sale was set up, there was a table where 90% of everyone was heading. So it was full of high-end Gucci bags, purses, designer this, designer that, very expensive stuff, jewelry. I just went to check out the costume jewelry. And there was one worker behind the table. And naturally, everybody wanted to know how much things were. So you can imagine, everyone's got their masks on. We're not socially distanced. We're crowding because it was in this small little cove with one worker, no prices, and people were shouting left and right, how much is this, how much is that? And he didn't know, and he had to look it up. It was most disorganized mess you ever saw. But the point of this is, there was a gentleman standing behind, or right next to me, with his family, an African-American man, and his wife was asking about a purse. I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, or, it was a nice purse, and wanting to know how much it was. And there was one person behind the counter, 50 people waving things. How much is this? How much is that? Poor guy was distracted, and they had a clipboard where supposedly some things were marked, but turns out half of the things that people were asking about weren't on this list. And so this man is asking for his wife, how much is this purse? And the gentleman behind said, I don't know, I have to look it up. And there was a woman who I guess was helping organize, said, oh, well, that wasn't even marked out. That was in back of a closet that, was closed to the public. And this gentleman said, no, it was on the floor. And she said, no, it was in the way back in the closet. And it was the way she said it. I realized I was in the midst of watching Days of Our Lives, because this is what's going on around us every moment. These little exchanges that in this moment is reflecting all the stuff that's going on. It's reflecting COVID, stress, the social changes, Black Lives Matter, all converged in this one moment. So this man was trying to explain to this lady who was distracted already that we found this purse on the floor. And she's saying, no, you didn't. It was in the closet. And white woman. And I could feel as I was standing next to him, because we're crowded, there wasn't enough social distancing because of the situation. He was starting to get a little upset at the way she said that. And he started to say, we found this on the floor. It doesn't have a price on it. And so this woman was getting irate behind the counter. No, that was locked up in a closet, and where people weren't supposed to open up. And he's saying, what are you insinuating? I'm like, oh no, I'm standing there and I could feel him because it was the way she said it. And in this moment, I said, oh my gosh, here we go. We have two people stressed to their max because this estate sale had not been set up. People are wanting to know how much this is and how much that is. They're distracted. This gentleman is wanting to know how much something is. And she's responding in a way that, I heard her. It wasn't very nice. Now, totally possible she was stressed and didn't realize how she was coming across. It's also totally possible that on this side, he's like, what are you insinuating? Are you suggesting that we're digging around looking for something that wasn't for sale? Days of our lives. I'm standing there. I'm trying to find out how much a necklace is. Have you ever been in this kind of situation? These are these daily interactions that reflect a lot of energy, right? It's more what's not being said. That's what's being said. So this went back and forth of, what are you insinuating? I wasn't insinuating anything. Yes, you were. I've told you I found it on the floor. I'm saying it was in the closet. And finally, the woman said, this is way too stressful. And so they tried to calm down a little bit. So I don't know how much that purse was. It was a couple $1,000s. And I believe this gentleman and his wife did buy it. I decided I really didn't need to look at costume jewelry, and I left. And all the way home, it lingered with me. This aftertaste of what happened? Why was that so unpleasant? And I realized we are all in such a pressured environment right now. There's so much going on that it's like a tinderbox. It's a tinderbox. And my suggestion is, folks, now more than ever, do your best to just be a little bit more mindful of how you express yourself in the moment. Anyone can sound love and light when it's groovy and, there's nobody's in a rush and all this stuff. It's these moments where we get a sense of what's really going on. So we don't have to look too far to find out where our spiritual work is. It's in the days of our lives. For me, I was doing my best to try to stay present, because I could feel at any moment an argument might break out, and I could understand why, and so I gave this gentleman a smile to the best I could over my mask, just to let him know I totally get it. I mean, I don't know, but we're all doing the best we can. Folks, if you're in a movie of the days of your lives, these small interactions at the grocery store, at the post office, recognize that the amount of energetic stress going on is significant between COVID, the election. We have a lot of things going on in social change with Black Lives Matter. Do your best. That's all that's needed. Be a little bit more mindful of your assumptions, because there may have been assumptions going on both sides, right? But when it's so inflamed, it just gets bigger. So for me, I took away this going, this is a glimpse of how we're living. How can I be perhaps a calming influence in something like this? I gave this gentleman a smile. Didn't have to say anything. And this woman, I think, behind the counter, she was so distracted. Of course, I wanted to ask, well, if you're running an estate sale, what were you doing? Opening up the house with nothing priced, right? This is the natural result. And there could have been reasons. They were trying to say that the homeowner didn't give them enough time to price anything. Who knows? So, folks, do the best you can. We're all in this together. There's no right or wrong. There's only the best we can show up in the moment. Whether you're playing a character in the movie or you're a bystander, do your best to be fully present with people. Everyone's doing the best they can. And that's enough, right? We don't need to be pointing fingers at each other. Just, doesn't it suck that we're in this situation? Days of our lives. We don't even have to watch TV for drama. And where are you in showing up the best you can when stuff like, these are little things that, it's half an hour later and I'm still sitting with it. I know this gentleman going home after buying his Yves Saint Laurent handbag for his wife is probably still thinking about it. And the woman behind the counter is probably still stressed out the max. Just do the best you can. Try to be a little bit more mindful. Take a little extra time. When someone's asking you a question, the way you respond is often more important than what you actually said, because we recognize energetic imprints more than words. Okay? So I'd love to hear from you. What sort of days of your lives have you been experiencing? And what has that been showing up for you, and what's going on at large? So, hope this is useful, and I'll catch up with you soon. Have a great day of your life. Thanks.